Manusher Jonno Foundation, in partnership with Partnership for Transparency Fund (PTF), supported by the Japanese Social Development Fund, has piloted a unique monitoring model called Citizens Action for Results, Transparency and Accountability (CARTA). It aimed to enhance the development impact, sustainability and local ownership of development initiatives in Bangladesh.
CARTA project itself addresses directly to this sustainable development of Bangladesh. So we appreciate the initiative taken by World Bank and then MJF, which showed strong enthusiasm in the change of the mindset of the people at the local level. CARTA must have worked very, very hard. And then I think that was very admirable efforts, and then we appreciate that as the founder of this project through JSDF.
Some concern was to say this is the completion of the project. I hope not. This is an ongoing process. It must continue whether the funding for this particular project is over or not. The philosophy behind citizens monitoring is absolutely vital to develop.
On June 15, 2015, a workshop was held in Dhaka, Bangladesh, to review the lessons learned from the CARTA program. More than 100 participants from government officials, donors, non-governmental organizations, NGOs, and relevant stakeholders together reflect on the impact and future use of social accountability to improve service delivery of World Bank projects and paving the way for the future.
Citizens' engagement can play a very constructive role in improving development outcomes. That the World Bank has in fact adopted a strategic framework for mainstreaming citizens' engagement in all our operations. This was adopted in 2014. And it comes with a corporate target of aiming to achieve 100% beneficiary feedback incorporated in all our operations by FY18, so 2017-18. Lessons learned in Bangladesh. The CARTA program has been really instrumental in the citizens' engagement incorporated in 5 key projects here, which has allowed people to learn and citizens to directly report on how things are going, what are some of the unintended consequences of things that have been done, all with the view of really helping to improve service delivery and learning from this experience.
It has been 3 years and it is very, very soon to measure impact of the program. People feel more empowered to provide feedback on projects. We have seen that there is improvement in targeting of the most vulnerable, improvement in the governance of village level institutions, and opportunity to air grievances. These are the lessons we are learning and these are the trends we can see. Many such initiatives that we will see in future, especially for our government to kind of look at the lessons learned and see how we can take this forward.
CARTA was unique in the sense that there was independent funding provided by the Japanese Social Development Fund, where third-party monitoring is one of the tools which hopefully leading to improved performance and development outcomes. There's always a level of criticism there, and I think you can turn it into a constructive dialogue, but you need to, it's important that building it in a project with the same funding source and the contract is being controlled by the implementing agency is probably not the best idea. But what we also observe that CSOs can really help to create that environment and function as an intermediary and create an environment conducive to constructive engagement. There were sometimes timing issues. Some of the CARTA projects started when the World Bank finance project was almost complete, and it was not ideal. You have to build it from the very beginning. There's often a midterm review. The World Bank and the project implementation agency wanted to have the feedback. So that timing of these 2 different interventions is very important. We believe that CARTA has brought value added. It has enhanced transparency and constructive dialogue. We have seen that in many projects. We've seen that from the testimonies. We have also seen very concretely the improved functioning from grievance redress mechanisms, which were part of most of the World Bank projects. And there's that element of consultation with the stakeholders about how that should work I think is important to do that up front and build those capacity to do this work and provide training early, because that takes a little bit of time. Yeah? The people are not yet fully there. Good lessons is that you need to integrate the ideas and the approach with CARTA much more upfront in the project and program conception stage. Now that is the project implementing agency, but also the donor who's involved and the team who is, and most of these projects were not designed at the very beginning and have been retrofitting.
I was aware of CARTA. It is the wisdom of the people. It is the experience of the people that is the most important insight and input that any project formulator needs to bear in mind. And I hope, just as CARTA is showing this to us, I hope funding agencies and development agencies must also learn that it is the voice of the people, it is those who are solving them. Only difference is you have the resources, which can make it possible for these people to undertake the work they want. It is their knowledge, it is their solution that matters. And once their solution has been taken into account, rest follows, the ownership of the project follows, the accountability follows, and the transparency is, of course, inherent in that project.
There is a value addition from this third-party monitoring in the sense that if you have an outside view, an objective view as to what the customers are getting, that can only help to strengthen the project design. So what we have learned from third-party monitoring was that there is a value addition from getting direct feedback from the customers. So the project has introduced this phone-based surveys that we are occasionally getting feedback from the customers. So we are hoping to mainstream these things in World Bank and other development partners projects. We have learned from this intervention, we have tried to mainstream as much as we could given the cost implications and other things.
So I think the feedbacks and findings that we have received from the CARTA monitoring team, that has been taken into consideration, and we have really trained our people on that, and they have been working and they are trying to get rid of all these bad findings and other things. So in our new operation, that will be very useful.
We need an agency which is independent and able to extract the real situation in the field. The project implementation mechanism will be clear to citizens. The World Bank is now engaging such agencies in their projects in Bangladesh. Used citizen report card, community scorecard, public hearing to build strong bond among the projects, implementing organization and beneficiaries.
From CARTA program, what we found is that this is a very good way of organizing. It's a collective voice. It's a collective voice, and it's a way of communicating the collective voice to the right set of people. So that is what Ross has taken from CARTA, that how to make this engagement as a collective engagement and to make sure the communication is there.
In terms of monitoring, it's a new concept, and I must say unique one. যে আমরা যে কাজগুলি করছি মাঠে ময়দানে এগুলোর কি ইম্প্যাক্ট, জনগণ যারা সুবিধাভোগী তারা কতটুকু জানতে পারছে, তারা কতটুকু সুবিধা পাচ্ছে, এই সম্পর্কে আমাদেরকে এক সোর্স অফ ফিডব্যাক মেকানিজম হিসেবে কাজ করছে আমাদের জন্য। আমি ব্যক্তিগতভাবে বলতে পারি যে আমি এলজিএসপিতে কাজ করছি, আমি যেখানে যেখানে ভিজিট করেছি কার্টা প্রোগ্রাম, তারা খুবই ভালো করছে এবং থার্ড পার্টি মনিটরিং যেটা করছে এটি সত্যিকার অর্থেই আমাদের কাজগুলোকে টু এ লার্জ এক্সটেন্ট সাপ্লিমেন্ট করছে, টু এ সাম এক্সটেন্ট রিইনফোর্স করছে এবং অবশ্যই আনডাউটেডলি সিগনিফিকেন্টলি ভ্যালু অ্যাড করছে।
This was a pilot, and it's also you try to build capacity of the civil society and citizens to build on existing laws. So in Bangladesh you have the right to information, you have citizen charters, you have the workshops. So what needs to happen is support citizens' capacity to participate in the channels that have been created, because I think the key is to operationalize what's already on the paper, the existing laws. But there is definitely wealth of experience in Bangladesh, and I'm confident that this will happen.
It may be the beginning. It should be continued. ওয়ার্ল্ড ব্যাংক বা দাতা সংস্থা আমাদের ডেভেলপমেন্ট পার্টনার যারা আছে তারাও যদি এগিয়ে আসে আমার মনে হয় এটা ভেরি ইফেক্টিভ ফ্রুটফুল প্রসেস ইন টার্মস অফ মনিটরিং ইন এ ডিফারেন্ট ওয়ে
And I hope there is a CARTA 2. I'm looking at Luisa. I hope there is a CARTA 2 going to come very soon.
Today's national workshop, the last conclusion of our CARTA program. Thank you all. Thank you very much.